Hey friends. Can I call you friend? Can I call you friend? Can I call you friends? It's Anya and I am back again with another YouTube video. I know a lot of you guys have been asking like, girl, where you been at? But I've been taking time out to be a mom and I had no idea how to be one, so I took the past month or so to do exactly just that. I know a few of you guys have actually contacted me on like social media and things like that. I appreciate that. Some of you guys have already seen my baby. You already seen what she look like. For those of you guys who have not, you'll see her eventually. Obviously, I'm a mom, so you'll see her on my channel. But I just wanted to tell you guys I am fully back in effect with my YouTube videos.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that.
As you guys know, I'm a new YouTuber. Everything is pretty much done with natural lighting, so throughout this video you may see the lighting change. I can't help the sun. God created that. However, I am working on getting some new things for myself, which is like a ring light, a camera, backdrops, things like that. But as of now, you guys are just going to have to bear with me and just deal with pretty much all of my ratchetness that I'm going through, because I'm going to come up and you guys are just going to come up with me. You're my friends. You're supposed to be there from the ground up. So since I'm saying that, I'm going to enter my very hard worked on 90s little intro video like now. So let's get to it. All right, well, I'm going to start with my 40th week, just so you guys are kind of caught up on everything. Every Thursday, because once you hit a certain point when you are in your pregnancy, you have to go to the doctors every week so they can check up on you. Every Thursday was my doctor's appointment. Every Tuesday was a new week for me. So it was my 40th week. It was that Thursday. I went to the doctor's office as I was supposed to. I was actually running late. I'm always late, but I was running late this day and I almost missed my appointment. So the lady's like, I'm sorry, like you're a little too late. We're going to have to reschedule. And I'm like, that's fine. But I am at my 40th week and they said that if I make it to this appointment that they're going to schedule me to be induced. She's like, okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Talk to the doctor, comes back. I ended up getting in because obviously they couldn't wait for me, you know, to possibly have my child and they didn't check me yet. So I had to get scheduled to get induced just in case my baby didn't come before that Tuesday coming up, because that would have been my 41st week. And as I'm sitting there, they are about to check my cervix, see if I'm dilated, if anything's moving along. For the past few weeks, I've been completely closed. Nothing looked like it was happening. Like, it was pretty much just like, sorry, sis. Like, your baby could come at any time, but sorry. So I was kind of like a little bit disappointed because I swear my baby was going to come early. Like, once you hit your baby shower, you're ready for your baby. There is no such thing as like, oh, like, you know, you're ready. There's nothing else to look forward to but your child being there. And plus I worked up to my 39th week. So I was done work. I wasn't doing anything. I was ready for my baby to come. That week, she went and she checked me and I was 2 centimeters dilated. So now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, like my baby's about to come like any minute now. She's like, well, not necessarily. It could come, it could not come, and you could still get induced. Like 2 centimeters is basically nothing to them. So she asked me to do an SNS sweep, which is where they like take their fingers, they go into your cervix, they kind of sweep around, get the mucus out, try to like get it going. Now, the week before, my mucus plug came out. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, because if you're pregnant, you're going to have to deal with it. So my mucus plug came out, which usually lets you know that your pregnancy is on an up and up, but nothing was happening. After the mucus plug came out, I started having contractions and stuff like that, more like Braxton Hicks type of contractions. So once she did the SNS sweep, they intensified. It went from sharp little dagger pains to like cramps. So she was like, are you cramping? I was like, yeah, I am. She was like, good. Your baby should be here if everything goes well in the next 2 days. So I'm hyped because I'm ready for my child to come. I didn't want to get induced. I don't believe in all of that, like forcing the kid to come out. I wanted her to come when she was ready. So I started cramping. I was cramping basically for the rest of the day. They did schedule me to get induced that Tuesday. I went home. I'm on a go now because now I'm cramping. So I'm like, all right, it's time to exercise. I'm on YouTube doing like squats and stuff, like doing all these videos that like help the gravity of your baby like push down so that they can come out. I'm doing like little like exercises, walking around. My mom's walking around with me. I had got raspberry leaf tea, which is supposed to like help like with the baby come out and stuff like that. And I'm just like on go. Like my mom had took off that weekend. She's ready to go. Everybody thinks the baby's ready. We got all the bags bags packed. Everybody is like prepared for the baby to come. Like her dad was basically here like every night because he's just like, I felt like he was just kind of like, if this baby come, I need to be here. So, and then on top of that, I was cramping. So this isn't a miracle story. I'm just going to let you guys know. No, my baby did not come that weekend. And yes, I did have to get induced, which sucks because I didn't want to rush her, but she wasn't trying to come out and she couldn't stay in there much longer. So I had to do what I had to do. So that Sunday night, they called me and they were like, hey, you know, we scheduled you for your induction, because they don't really tell you until they like check with the hospital. So they said they scheduled me to get my induction at 9 o'clock. That's when I can come in. And they told me they would call me at 6 o'clock in the morning just to double check I was coming in at that time. So I had already preset my alarm that night before at 6 o'clock waiting for their phone call. I went to sleep that night and my cramps were the worst. Like I literally felt like my stomach was on fire. So I was like, well, maybe my baby might come and I won't have to get induced, but no. They called me that morning. It was 6 o'clock in the morning and they were like, hey, we know we told you to come in at 9, but could you make it here by 7:30? So I'm like, yeah, sure. So the lady goes, make sure you grab something to eat because once you get here, you're going to be on an all liquid diet. So you're going to be starving and who knows how long you're going to be in labor for. Bet you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm greedy. I like to eat. So I got myself up. I got in a shower. I got dressed. The hospital's only like 15 minutes from me. So I went to like this little bagel place. I got myself a nice little sandwich. Got myself something to drink. Like I'm having a good morning. I had called her dad before I left the house, let him know that I was going in early. And then my mom had came with me to the hospital. So everybody's pretty much just waiting. Like just let me know when things get started and we'll meet you there. So we waited for about, I want to say like 45 minutes after getting there and checking in, because like you have to check in, give them all your paperwork, all that stuff. And you have to like register the baby. They got to make sure she's registered first. So we did all of that. They finally got us a room and they told me to get completely undressed and put a robe on. So I did that. The nurse came in. She got all my family background information, all that stuff. My mom's there with me. And I'm pretty much just sitting there. So now they have nurses coming in to try to check my cervix to see how dilated I am. Still only 2 centimeters. Now I'm already nervous because I just don't like to rush things. And I felt like the whole process was kind of being rushed to begin with because you're pushing a baby out that's not ready to come. But I had to do what I had to do. So because I wasn't that much dilated, they have like this little balloon thing where it's like they stick this little stick in like your area and they like blow it up so it kind of stretches out and dilates you more. And then on the outside it's like a little balloon that puts pressure on it to kind of like push it open. So they go to insert this balloon, and when I tell you this was the worst pain, like that's when my contractions started happening, because now my cervix is being dilated. Like, so I'm on like cloud 9 at this point. Like I don't even know where my head's at. All I can feel is the pain. I'm not thinking about anything else, like nothing. So I see like my daughter's dad's like blowing up my phone, like trying to figure out like where I'm at, what's going on, like, and I wasn't answering because your girl was in pain and I told you I was at the hospital, so you know where I'm at. I'm not calling you again. Like, you know where to find me. So her godmom ended up coming shortly after that. And she's trying to ask me if I'm okay. But I'm a type of person, like, if I'm mad or in pain, my attitude is like crazy. So I was just, and I wasn't trying to give her an attitude because it wasn't her fault, but I was just kind of like, I'm fine. Like, you know what I mean? So, because I was just like in so much pain. I didn't want anybody talking to me. I didn't want to hold a conversation. By the time she came in, they wanted to give me like morphine. They had me already like hooked up to like IVs and stuff. I was watching TV, and I'm just sitting there, just trying to get more dilated for the most part. But as time was going by, the more intense they were getting. And I think at some point my balloon came out. So the nurses had to come in, they had to fix it, which was 20 times worse, because when the lady blew it up again this time, I felt like it was bigger. I don't know if it was just me or what, but I felt like she blew that balloon up so much bigger. And I can't even tell you the way it feels when you start having your contractions, but I'm gonna tell you one thing, it hurts. Like, you're in the middle of like wanting to throw up, wanting to like punch somebody. Like, I have really bad cramps and they were still bad for me. Like, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm about to die. Like, I'm about to die. So they come in and they're like asking me like, were you thinking about an epidural? I told them no. I was planning on having a natural birth. I'm already getting induced. I don't want an epidural. So I asked them before I came in for a bathtub. They said they'll try to get me one. Once I got there, I asked them for a room with a bathtub. they said there's one open, they'll try to get me one. When the lady asked for the medication, I told her I wanted a bathtub because, you know, I was trying to have a natural. She said, okay, there's one open. She's going to try to give me one, right? So I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'm about to get this room. I can, like, sit in the bathtub. I can relax, right? And, you know, whatever. So I'm trying not to worry about that, but it kind of was a big thing for me because I was in so much pain. And if you have back cramps or anything like that, you know, if your cramps start going, if you sit in the bathtub or you put a heating pad on, that thing, like, it's love. Like, it relaxes your muscles. It kind of stops, you know, it hurting for so much. So that's why I really wanted the bathtub. So I come back in and no, I didn't come back in. I'm laying there. I don't know what I'm talking about. So her dad comes in. So he's looking at me. I probably look like a dead fish laying on his bed at this point because I'm crying. I'm upset. Like, and he's just kind of like walks in and he's just like kind of like sliding by. And I look at him and I like roll my eyes. And I just rolled my eyes because I was like annoyed because I just felt like, when I called you, you should have rushed over. Like, you should have been there. I do understand that he's busy and like that's why he wanted me to call me when everything got started. But it's just like when you're dealing with those contractions and stuff, your mind's not on calling somebody. Your mind is on like what the freak is going on. Like, I'm about to die. Y'all need to fix this. Like, so I was just annoyed because I just wanted him to be there from the jump. But nevertheless, he came, and a lot of people's baby daddies don't show up. So he was there. And you know, he like sat down with the rest of my family. He was asking them like what was going on because obviously he knew I wasn't about to talk to him. So they like kind of like called him up on everything. So then the doctors came back in. They're like, oh, have you changed your mind? Because I already had the morphine, so it was kind of working a little bit. But they're like, have you changed your mind? Like, we want to know if you're going to want the medication or not. So I'm like, no, like I want to have my baby natural. So they're like, okay. By this time, I want to say it's about like 7 o'clock. And I'm a little annoyed because every nurse or every person that comes in keeps on asking me, like, if I want to freaking get this medication or not. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I felt like it was kind of like being pushed down my throat, if anything. So I'm like annoyed about that. The morphine wore off, so I'm in pain. And now I'm just like sitting there because they can't give it to you again. And I'm just sitting there just in pain. So my mom, because it's getting late, she's just kind of like, and my mom actually did have work that morning because she already took off that whole weekend. So she had work the next day. So she was hoping the baby came while she was there. But she's kind of like telling my cousin, like, tell her to get it. And then my cousin's telling him, like, you tell her to get it. Like, because none of them wanted to like approach me because they already knew what type of mood I was in. And it's just not a good one when I have attitude. So I'm kind of just like sitting there and he's like, whatever she wants to do. Like, I'm not trying to like get in the middle of that. So I guess the reason why they wanted me to get it, because apparently like if you do decide that you want to get medicated during pregnancy, it speeds the process up. And I guess that's what they were trying to do, like kind of like speed up the process, because I came there at 7:30. I got in the room and was settled by like 9 o'clock. And now like time's pushing and they're getting into a new day and I'm still not even starting with my labor. Well, like the really deep part of my labor yet. Like my contractions are going, but that's it. So shortly after, the ladies come in, they come to check the balloon and I'm 4 centimeters dilated. So they're like, okay, good. Like, we'll take the balloon out. Pretty soon you'll be like 5 centimeters. They claim once you're 5 centimeters dilated, it takes about 30 minutes to an hour for you to start. Like, you know, from 30 minutes to an hour, like in between that time, like your baby should be there like a little bit before or after, like somewhere in between. That's when your baby should be coming. So I'm sitting there. I'm 4 centimeters for a while. So 12 o'clock hits. It might have been like almost like 1 o'clock. My mom and my daughter's godmom, they're like, listen, like, we're going to leave. We're going to try to go home, take a nap. Call us when you're 5 centimeters dilated. We'll come and we'll get you, because that means like we got like 30 minutes to get there. So we'll come. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to call. So y'all going to have, you know, her dad call. So they're like, all right, they let him know. So I'm sitting there and I want to say about like 10 to 15 minutes after they left, which they should have never left. The nurse comes in, she's like, we're going to take you to the labor and delivery room. So I'm like, okay, cool. Because by this time, I'm just sitting there in a dark room watching TV and I'm miserable, completely miserable. I looked a mess. I felt a mess. It was a mess. So they take me to the labor and delivery room and my daughter's dad walks in and I go check the bathroom, see if they had a bathtub. So she goes, he goes, okay. So he goes in, checks the bathroom, and comes out and doesn't say anything. And I was like, they don't have a bathtub. And he's like, nah, they got a shower in there. When I tell you I was pissed, I was livid. Because when I tell you I probably spoke to like 4 different people like 10 times and told them like I wanted a bathtub and they told me it was available and they didn't give me one, I was absolutely pissed because I really felt like they were kind of trying to push this epidural, and I felt like they knew if I had that bathtub I definitely wasn't getting one. That's how I feel. I made, you know, the room might have not been available, like whatever it is. There's only like a few rooms in the hospital that I went to that has them, so it could have been whatever, but I just felt like that at that time, and I was pissed because I've been asking you guys since not only the previous day, but since 6 o'clock this morning when you guys contacted me. So I'm like, why don't I have a freaking bathtub, you know? So I was mad about that, but nevertheless, I had to get ready. My baby was coming. So I'm sitting there, and they're telling me, they're like, oh, okay, we're going to put this little ultrasound thing on your stomach. They do this when you first get in there. It's like a little tiny device, and they put it on your stomach with this little belly band so they can monitor the baby's heart while like you have like the IVs in your arm and everything. So at this point, they're doing that whole process again. And I'm noticing where this little ultrasound thing is, or whatever it is that they're listening to the baby's heartbeat. That's where all my pain's going to. It literally was like pounding. Like I felt like something was about to explode. It hurt so much. So by this time, my contractions are really bad, to the point like I can't even breathe when they're happening. I feel like I want to scream out, but then I heard like if you scream out, it hurts worse because you're like tightening your muscles. Like it literally, you're just sitting there and you're just like, oh my God, like I'm about to die. Like you literally feel like life's over for you, like for real. So I'm like sitting here and I'm crying, like because the pain hurts so bad, and it only stops for like a few seconds and then it's like boom, back at it again. So I'm sitting there and I'm telling the lady like, I need to move this, whatever this is, I need to move it because I feel something like kicking. And they're like, oh, it's probably just the baby kicking your stomach. And I'm like, no, like I literally feel like something is like about to explode inside of my body. So she's like, it's just the baby, like, but we'll move it around. So I'm like, okay. So she moves it to a different spot. It stops hurting in that spot and starts hurting again where this ultrasound thing is at. So I'm like, maybe it's a device, maybe it has nothing to do with the baby. So I'm 2 seconds from ripping it off. So I go to take it off. The lady's like, no, you can't. We got to make sure the baby's okay. Just in case you start pushing, we still need to make sure she's all right. So I'm annoyed because I'm like, I don't know if it's this ultrasound thing and it's bothering my baby and that's why she's kicking it or whatever the case is, or if there's actually really something wrong because there was just so much pain on my left hand side. So a few of the doctors come in, they're still asking me like, hey, did you want to get the epidural? No, I just told you guys 100 times, like, I want to have this baby natural. But by this time, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. Like, I might just get this epidural for real because I can't even bear with this pain at this point. So the lady comes, she comes in, she introduces herself. She's my doctor. My doctor was on vacation at the time, so this was a new doctor handling me. So she comes in and she's like, I'm going to check to see how dilated you are. I was about 5 centimeters. At this point. So I look over to her dad and I'm like, yo, text my mom, text her godmom, let them know that, you know, I'm 5 centimeters. I'm probably about to have this baby soon. So he contacts them. But low-key, I felt like he wanted it to be private because he's mentioned it before. Like, he just wanted it to be us. And I feel like he was low-key happy that they left. So if you ask me, I feel like he waited until they started asking me to push to tell them that I was 5 centimeters dilated. Because when I first told him, I don't remember him picking up his phone or leaving or getting on it to call anyone. But at the same time, I wasn't like stressing over it because I was in so much pain. But y'all know what the hell's going on. He was trying to make sure that they were late. I feel like, because I felt like he wanted it to be like a personal situation for us, like just a us thing, if that makes any sense. So we get to the point, it's time for me to start pushing. So if you guys don't know, it really sucks being in that position because the fact that they stretched out everything's going on. Now they're ready to like my water to break. My water hasn't broken yet. So they go in and they break my water and literally water everywhere. Whatever fluid it is, it's everywhere. Like you would have thought, I don't even want to say I peed the bed. It was much more fluid than that. I felt like somebody just had a bucket of water and just threw it there. Like it was so much. And then on top of that, like I'm bleeding and stuff. So I don't like feeling sticky and nasty and like feeling like I'm in a whole bunch of mess. So I'm annoyed, I'm in pain, and I'm just like sitting there because I'm like, the ladies are like trying to change me and they put these little pads under you to like catch the liquid. And I'm very like private when it comes to like my body and stuff. So like, I don't like people looking at like my naked body really. Bathing suits is cool, you know, I don't care about any of that stuff, but they're like all in the mix, like all in the mix, and they're like trying to change the pad and stuff, and I'm kind of like sitting there because her dad's over here, and I'm just like, oh, because I don't know what I look like. Mind you, I have like a deeper pigmentation at that time, so it's like dark there. I told you guys I got dark under my underarms and stuff like that, so I was kind of like insecure about that too. I just didn't want them looking at me, period. So long story short, I'm rambling about nothing. Long story short, a few minutes after, you know, the water breaks, they come back in asking about an epidural. And I'm like, I don't want to get one. But at this point, my pain's unbearable at this point. So the lady's like, well, let's try to push first, because I don't understand why the baby's not moving along. We're going to try this. So I go and I put my feet in the little sternals that are there. I'm pushing, and the lady's like telling me to push. I don't know how to push. This is my first time having a kid. So I'm pushing, like trying to get the baby out, and they're like, you're not pushing hard enough. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like pushing, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, you're not pushing hard enough. So the lady's like, you need to push like you're having a bowel movement. But I'm scared because I'm like, what if I have one? I don't know. So I'm like pushing, and they're like trying to suck the baby out. And sorry, my niece came in. So I'm pushing, they're trying to suck the baby out, and she's not coming. She's basically playing hide and go seek with them, like, might come out, might not. Yeah, I'm right here, but I'm not coming out. So when they think they have the baby, they go to suck it, and she goes like, yeah, I'm not getting out. Like, so I see all this blood just splattering all over them. I'm just sitting here because I'm like, oh my gosh. And the lady's like, if she doesn't come out, we're going to have to give you a C-section. So I'm asking her why. And a few minutes before she had said that, I heard like a whole bunch of beeping, and then I'm like, okay. And then the lady was like, because it looks like the baby's in distress, like her heart rate's going down. So I'm sitting here because I'm like, we about to push. I'm not about to have a C-section. Absolutely not. So I already got induced. Y'all didn't give me my bathtub. I'm in pain, and y'all want me to have a C-section. I was like, oh, they're trying to ruin me right now. So I'm like, girl, it's go time. Start pushing. So I'm pushing with all of my might. Like, her dad's in there. He's trying to like support me, I guess, or like calm me down. But I'm just like sitting there because I'm like, I got one goal only. Get this baby out before they push me into the freaking C-section delivery room. So we tried like 3 more times, and she just wasn't having it. So immediately after that, it's go time. Like, we're like, okay, we're going to have to give you an epidural, this, that, and third. And I was like, okay. So they had me sit up, and I was like kind of like over, and they kind of like put the needle in my back. So I waited a few minutes, and then as they're doing that, they had like the IV in my arm, and there's like some medication they can add with the epidural to kind of like make you like more numb. So they're giving me that at the same time. So at this point, I feel high as hell. So I'm sitting here like loopy as I don't know what. They start pushing my bed in. And then everything kind of just like flew after that. Like, after everything happened, I got all my medications. Everything kind of just flew. The doctors came in. People came. They like put all my stuff down. They told him to wait, and they go flying me into the room. Now I'm panicking because I'm like, I'm by myself. The last person I want not to be with me is him. Like, I need him here. So I guess they just need him to get changed into like sterilized clothes because whatever he had on couldn't come into the room. So they had me laid down. The lady gave me another whatever it was that she put in my arm, I don't know. And then they put these curtains up, so they're getting ready to like cut me open. So now I'm crying because I'm so upset, because I'm like, the last thing I really wanted was to have a freaking C-section, because as I told you guys previously, I got into modeling and I didn't want to mess my body up, but at the same time, it's like, your body, your baby, what's more important? So I'm upset, but at the same time, I'm also scared, because I'm like, what's going on? Like, is my baby okay? You know what I mean? So it's just so much running through my mind. And then her dad comes in, and he comes to by me. He's like, everything's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm here. And I'm sitting there because I'm like, in a way, I just wanted to be like, I wanted to just start, but I'm just like, it was just too much going on. Then I'm like under the influence of drugs. I really didn't know how to feel. So they kind of just like swapped me from, like, when I got in, they swapped me from bed to bed. Like, they were like, cross your arms, but I didn't know what they were talking about, because they said hug yourself, and I'm like, what? And they like crossed my arms like this, threw me on the bed. That's when they had put the curtains up. He came in, whatever. So now we're at the point now, they're like cutting me open. So I feel like the shaking, but I don't feel anything, and he's with me the entire time. And I'm just like really upset because I don't know what's going on. So they're like, oh, okay, they got the baby out, but I don't hear my child crying. at all. So now I'm really scared because, you know, when babies come out, they're supposed to like have their first cry, and it was silent for a little bit. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, is something wrong with my child? Da da da. So they're like, Dad, come here. And at that point, I heard her have her first cry. So I was like, okay, my baby's fine. So he goes over, and, you know, they're cleaning her off or stuff. He's like looking. I'm a little jealous because I felt like I should have been the first one to like see her when she came out. That's what I was hoping for. She comes out, they put her on my chest, you know, but no, that's not how it happens. They like still had to stitch me up and stuff. So they're stitching me up. Everything's kind of like covered around me. He goes over there to go see the baby, which is like in a little corner behind where I was at. They brought like this little thing because I said I felt like I had to throw up, like I was real nauseous. So they brought this little thing next to my face, and I'm like puking in that. It's disgusting. They're like sucking it. It's the worst. It was like going to the dentist, but the doctors at the same time, and it was nasty. It was the worst. So as I'm laying there, and they have like these doctors, because they have like the gauze on me and stuff, all these doctors, all these nurses in my face, like, your baby's beautiful, oh my god, she's so gorgeous, like, da da da, I'm blah blah blah, nice to meet you, congratulations, da da da. And all I'm thinking about is, girl, I want to see my child. Like, what are we talking about? Like, and there's about like 4 or 5 nurses back to back coming into you. Like, imagine like all this stuff happening at one time. Like, it's just a whirlwind of stuff going on, and everybody's like, hi, how are you, like, how's your baby? Like you're just kind of like sitting here like, can I see her first? Like, cool, she's beautiful, but I want to see my child. So all I heard her dad saying is like, yo, she's white. Like, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, like, he's mixed. I'm not that dark myself. Like, I'm brown skinned, but I'm not that dark myself. He's lighter than me. My grandma looks like she's darn near white. So I'm just like, she could have came out brown skin like my mom. She could have came out my skin complexion. She could have came out like you. She could have came out light. Okay. Like, they actually brought her over for like a split second and kind of just was like, here she is. And I was like, hey, Nana, because I've been calling her Nana since forever. And I was like, hey, Nana. And then like she kind of like looked at me and they're like, oh my gosh, she knows her mom. So immediately like my heart drops because I'm like, wow, I created that, you know. And then just as quickly as they gave her to me was just as quickly as they took her away, they started pushing me into another room for me to recover at. They had me there for an hour. By this time, my mom and my godmom, not my mom, my godmom, her godmom were already downstairs waiting for us. They finally were able to come up. They moved me into my room, and I was just waiting for the baby to come in there at that point. So they come in there. My mom's like so happy she finally gets to see the baby. She looks just like you. I'm like, I know. And then I'm just like looking at her because I'm like, she's just so cute, and like she's so like, because when babies come out they're like really puffy looking. So I was like, she's so puffy and cute, and like I love her. So yeah, like I had my daughter Helani Kamora Khalili at 3:11 a.m. She was 6 pounds, 13 ounces, and she was 20 inches long. She is the most beautiful and the best thing that has happened to me thus far. And when I seen her, I felt like everything that mattered before then, even with me being in pain from the C-section, me having a C-section to begin with, my whole labor and delivery, nothing mattered but what I was seeing at that moment in time. So process began. If you don't know about hospitals, I was a little annoyed my entire stay because you really don't get time by yourself. And because I had my daughter at 3 o'clock in the morning, by the time I went to sleep and woke up, it was just like go time for friends and family to start coming. They don't even ask you if you want company or not. Like, friends and families just coming in, coming out, like from like 8 in the morning to whenever they wanted to leave. Between my family, his family, my friends, his friends, it's just people in and out. And then on top of that, doctors and pediatricians and nurses, and it's just like people nonstop coming in your room. And it's like the moment you think you're getting some rest, you ain't getting some rest, because there goes the PCT in there, the patient care tech, trying to freaking take your vitals. So it was just really a lot, and I just felt like I was really overwhelmed. So by the time I was able to go home, I was just really relieved because number one, I finally get to really get some sleep, and number two, I get to take my baby home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry about somebody in my face 24/7. Her dad stayed with me the entire time, as he should, and you know, drove me to and fro where I needed to be. But as much as that happened and as much that went on, and as quickly as the whole process kind of went, once I was like at my 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I spent the last month being a mom, and it has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I, you know, get emotional when I look at her. I get emotional, you know, just knowing like, this is me. This is who I am. This is half of me, you know, and it's half of, you know, her dad, and it's just like our little love baby. And I think it's so funny because she has this heart-shaped ear, and I'm like, because she was made out of love. So it's like, she's my world, you know what I mean? And I never thought that being a young mom, you know, was something in the cards for me, because I wasn't planning on having my kid for a while now. But now that I have her, it's like, she's my motivation. She's the one thing that I'm like, get up, get this done. Like, you got a child to feed. Like, let's go, girl. Like, so, as I told you guys previously, I finished school, but I'm going back because I need to go in and like put myself ahead and keep on getting my degrees until I get my doctorate, and kind of just boss up for my child, like, period. And at the same time, still do what I love to do and still be a mom, and, you know, still do everything just with a baby there. You know what I mean? I just want to give her the best life possible. But yeah, guys, that was my labor and delivery story. I'm sorry I wasn't able to film it. But yeah, I am obviously going to show you what my little pumpkin looks like because you guys haven't seen her. So she's been cranky lately. She's a little sick, but I'm just going to give you guys a little sneak peek of what she looks like. So this right here, guys, is the love of my life, my little chunky monkey, my Nana. Say hi to my friends. This is what my last month has consisted of, my little pumpkin. I love her so much. She's just the light of my life, and you guys are just gonna have to see how she grows and how she turns out, because I'm still figuring it out myself. She has such a low personality already. But I will see you guys in my next video. If you have any questions, comments, I know if you guys have already contacted me, contact me. I'm not a biatch. I ain't gonna be like, oh girl, I don't want to talk to you. No, hit me up. Like, I know a lot of you guys have questions. Some people don't even know that you guys are pregnant. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys, you know, some of you guys friends don't know that you're pregnant. So feel free to find a friend of me. I don't mind. Like, I needed people when I was pregnant too. But like I said, she's cranky. So we're gonna go. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Bye.